Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Studio. Today I'm here with a brand new video for you guys. It has been a while, but we are here to talk about the last three episodes of WandaVision, and I'm here with my dad, mduhzay.
Hey everybody.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about episodes 7, 8, and 9, as well as a few other small segments. I released this is a full version, and I released a commercial break segment yesterday of this, so like a little sneak peek at the podcast. But this is the full version of it. So overall, what did you think of these last three episodes? I mean, I personally really liked them.
Yeah, I did too. I thought they were the best episodes. They definitely the whole season ended well. Those episodes were excellent.
And like I think that this is all Marvel now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the first few episodes were definitely like, like a little bit like misleading when it came to the Marvel theme, but like these last three episodes really came out with that Marvel theme, and I did really enjoy it. Specifically, that scene at the beginning of episode 8, which we'll talk about later. But episode 7 had this like office mockumentary style, so like everyone was like talking like to like the camera, like to like Wanda and Agnes, and they were just it was like breaking the fourth wall pretty much. But I think that's the point. Did you like how they took this?
Absolutely. Well, I love The Office. I love Parks and Rec, which are two of the shows that really made that style popular. And so it was neat to be able to see that mockumentary kind of deal going on in episode number 7.
And this is the 2000s.
Yes.
And this kind of like took place, I guess, throughout the three episodes, right?
Yes.
They didn't really like change themes, which I think was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, the conclusion was the conclusion. They really didn't need a theme per se in the last episode or two.
So we see that Monica is planning her return back to kind of like apologize to Wanda, to try to make amends with her. I think that's the point because they all kind of like don't think that Wanda's a good person except Monica.
Yeah, I think Monica has hope that Wanda's being controlled somehow, which is true. I mean, she's being controlled by her grief, but Agnes or Agatha, which we'll talk about in a minute, is involved in that. So Monica wants to help and save Wanda from whatever's controlling her.
Hayward is trying to revive Vision and turn him into a weapon.
Yes.
Which is very interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So Hayward's not a good guy, right? And just like S.H.I.E.L.D. got corrupted, it seems like S.W.O.R.D. is corrupted, and he wants to use Vision as a weapon, and he could not revive Vision on his own, so he needs help, as we learn.
Yeah. So Agnes does stand up for Wanda against Monica when Monica comes back into town. Which, I mean, I don't know. That could be like a regular neighborly thing to do. We kind of find out the reason why later. But like then we had Darcy and Vision in the ice cream truck, which in my opinion was the kind of like the weird part.
Yeah, you need some comic relief in there, and that's exactly what it is. Darcy's amazing. Her character in the show provides some of that comic relief that's necessary with the severity of some of those issues that are going on, like grief.
And she's also good at her investigation.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. But we got this at the end. We got this very fun song, which is "It Was Agatha All Along."
Yeah. Great catchy tune, but the reveal at the end of episode 7 was, well, it was Agatha all along. She's been the instigator of all of this. Wanda's doing what Wanda's doing from her grief, but Agatha is controlling things from the outside.
And so she's Agatha Harkness, and she's a witch.
Yes.
We kind of are. Like I made a music video recently, Agatha through the years, using that song in the background, which has done pretty well views wise. But that again, very catchy tune in it. Like so, like, she like controlled like her acting weird that one time, and she controlled Petro showing up at Wanda's door to confuse her and to make her mind. Everyone's like Agnes was controlling Wanda's mind in that sense. So she was kind of like the one who caused everything. She was the one who caused that talent show scheme, which was definitely a fun reveal, and they made it into the best music video they probably could have.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But then wasn't there a closing scene like after the credits on this one with Pedro coming up and what was it? Snooper's gonna snoop or something like
Because
that.
Monica was like go
in the basement.
in Agnes's place,
Yeah.
and then Pedro shows up. So then it kind of shows that Pedro and Agnes are like
Working
cahoots
together. Yeah, which we find out more in the last episode.
Yeah. Overall, what grade would you give this episode?
Fantastic. A, or maybe even higher. Sounds great.
Yeah. Episode 8. Now, the opening scene in episode 8 is like a Marvel. It's like a Marvel show. It's with Agnes being surrounded by, her family members and the witches, and they're coming to attack her. Really well done scene. Probably the most Marvel that they've gotten, in my opinion. What do you think of this scene?
Yeah, it's excellent. So it's a group of witches. We have different colors being revealed here. We have blue and purple magic that surround the wizards, witches, as they cast spells, which I think provides a little bit of a preview of what's to come with Wanda.
But very well done scene with Agnes, though.
Absolutely. And it gives her backstory. And I think that's, really what was needed here is to provide her, character backstory, her origin, so to speak.
I mean, I think that, by the end, I think she kind of got what she deserved. Now, if there was a season 2, I would love to see that explored, that.
Sure.
I think that, they ended it off, where she started, Maybe they'll explore that in the future, but we'll talk about that later. So this episode, Wanda is forced to kind of look back at her past too, because Agnes is kind of forcing her to, and I think that that's good for Wanda, because Agnes, although she's controlling in this sense, she's also kind of forcing Wanda, which is a good thing, to look back at her past. We kind of all knew that the real Vision is dead, and she's made this vision in her head, vision, a vision. So I think that this was good, and it also was more emotional than I thought it would be. When it came to Wanda looking back, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's Wanda's and Pedro's backstory. It gives a glimpse into, what happened to Wanda and Pedro's parents. It gives an answer to why the sitcoms, which I thought was very creative. I think it also gives a little bit of understanding of grief. Losing her parents was a difficult thing for her, and then losing Pedro in the Age of Ultron movie, and then losing Vision in Infinity War gives kind of gives an understanding that there's something not right inside of her, and Agatha is there on the side to kind of stir it up, to take advantage of someone who's grieving. It shows the depth of grief that someone can go through in life, and how hard that is to overcome.
And someone like Wanda, I think that we needed to see her really explore this grief, in this episode, because things get very intense in the finale.
Absolutely.
But then we see at the end, Agnes is kind of using the Force to grab the twins and saying that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch. And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah, so there is some sort of prophecy of the Scarlet Witch. There is only one Scarlet Witch, where Agatha was using a purple-colored magic, and the family members of Agatha were using a blue-colored magic. Wanda's always used that scarlet color, and so she's prophesied to be the most powerful of all the wizards, witches, and that's who she is, the Scarlet Witch.
Yes. So this is the commercial break part of this podcast. We're discussing the commercials now. The ads are all connected to things Wanda is making up in her head. Example: the Lagos paper towel commercial was something Wanda created accidentally at the beginning of Captain America: Civil War. So that's kind of there's connections going on, and I didn't know if there would be connections with these commercials. But I think it is very interesting. What do you think?
Sure. I have not researched any of this, so this is all new to me.
Yeah, I went in and researched some of this, because we've gotten a new commercial every episode, and I think that it was cool to see how they all connected. The last one was in episode 7, and then we did not get one during the next 2 episodes, but I did some research, and it is confirmed that it's things that Wanda is connected to, which I didn't know. Did you think that the commercials meant anything at all?
I'm sure they did. I just didn't connect them together.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about episode 9, which is the series finale of WandaVision. So we kind of see Wanda and Agnes are having fights, and Vision and a different version of Vision are having fights.
Correct.
So we're kind of like seeing like these two different fight sequences going on, and they're pretty well done, I think. It really highlights like Wanda coming to terms with like who she is, Agnes coming to terms with who she is, Vision coming to terms with who he is, a different reality. What did you think of this whole thing?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it felt like a Marvel movie. The action scenes were well done. Those two fights going on at the same time reminded you something you would see in a Marvel movie. Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Yes.
And I love the different type of fight between the two visions. Check that out. That's really interesting how they evolve from a physical fight to a mental fight, which goes along with the character of the visions.
So we kind of like, I mean, it's confirmed that the fake Petro is in cahoots with Agnes, and he traps Monica. Episode 7, that was the ending, but Monica wins against him, of course. She kind of comes out as one of the heroes in the sense that Petro is one of the bad guys, of course. But I'm not, I'm not sure what this means for like the future of like this.
So Petro is really not Petro. It's just a guy named Ralph Boner, right? So they had some fun jokes on that. It's just some guy who Agnes has manipulated to be a stand-in for Wanda's brother.
Yes. So, and then Darcy runs over Hayward in the ice cream truck, which was probably my favorite moment of the episode.
Yeah, that's a nice little comic.
Hayward is arrested.
Yes.
And we mentioned this. Jimmy Woo could definitely get his own spin-off show. Would you agree?
Yeah, he's hilarious. I think he's
But
great.
I don't know if they would give him that. You
We'll
never
see.
know, though.
We'll see.
So for my little love triangle segment of this podcast, I wanted to say, what if there was a love triangle between Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy in the future?
Don't think so,
Like,
but allow
always,
you to dream
they're
that
always
up.
shown as like the trio, so you
Yes.
never know.
Yeah, there you go.
But what I did like about this is that Agnes is back to being the nosy neighbor that she started out with being. Monica kind of like transformed Agnes, and now if we were going to get a season 2, it would be interesting to see that. But I think that it's fine that we kind of left off of there with Agnes, so she's back to her old self. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. She gets what she deserves to be the nosy neighbor.
Because that's what she started out to be, and then this whole weird stuff happened with like her being a witch, and now she's back to the nosy neighbor, which is what she deserves. So then now like Wanda is kind of by herself at the end. The kids and Vision are gone. Wanda is alone in the cabin. I thought you would explain this scene.
Yeah, it looks like Wanda is trying to figure out her magic, right? To figure out her powers. So she's alone in isolation at a cabin in the woods. And so it shows her on the porch, drinking a cup of coffee or whatever by herself. And when the camera goes into the cabin, we see Scarlet Witch with that book that was in Agatha's basement, Dark Home or something like that. And Scarlet Witch casting all these spells is a reminder to all of us that Scarlet Witch is figuring out her powers. For good or for bad, she's figuring out what it means to be the Scarlet Witch. So that kind of is a cliffhanger. Does that mean she's going to be good? Or does that mean she's going to turn evil? And I know that's going to lead right into Doctor Strange Volume 2.
Which I'm not sure exactly when it's going to come out, but next year, I think.
I think so.
2022, yeah. And I'm excited to see how like this kind of incorporates into Doctor Strange too. I'm really excited for that.
I heard one rumor on that. Is that the villain of Doctor Strange is going to be hunting down witches and wizards, so sorcerers. And so if that is true, then the villain's going to go after Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange is going to come and save the day. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Overall, this was a great series. I understand that like people like my brother, for instance, who were kind of skeptical after that first episode. With the show not being like a Marvel show, for instance, it turns into a Marvel show. It turns into it in a good, gradually way. And I liked all like the Wanda. I think I liked every part of it. I don't think there was any parts that I did not like about this after maybe the first episode. Did you enjoy the series?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I give it an A+. I think it was great superhero television. Probably the best superhero television I've ever seen.
So our Falcon the Winter Soldier preview will be available, and we'll be reacting to the trailers that have been released for it. Will be available on this coming either Sunday or Monday. And then we'll be jumping into reviewing that show, and then we're pretty much going to be having a lot of shows to review coming up, which I am really excited for, and to watch. But overall, I think this was the second out of the three in the Marvel series. It was going to be Falcon and then WandaVision, but I think it worked for WandaVision to come first. I think that if they were gonna make it like maybe WandaVision wouldn't be what the people liked, I think that it came out really good.
Yes.
And like I think it was a great first start to many more shows to come in this specific program and Marvel and Star Wars, and I'm really excited for that. So anything else you want to say before we close?
No, it was a great show.
Okay, so yeah, and when we review Doctor Strange 2 in the future, I'm sure we'll come back to this show. A great show, and I'm excited to rewatch it. Hopefully in the future we'll go back to it and analyze it more. But
sounds good.
Anyways, I want to thank you for watching the studio. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, numbers of video. Thanks for watching, and bye.